Hey everybody, it's Cass and Court TV. It's your girl, Miss Public Info, here with the latest and greatest and sometimes hated updates of the most high-profile cases going on around the country. Now, today we're going to talk about the Cardi B trial. Obviously, we'll go through the day two and day three of it. We are now currently in day three of the trial. Yesterday was day two. I started my trial coverage of Cardi B yesterday, just with day one. So I'll go through day two and day three. We'll also talk about just a little bit of commentary of the direction the trial is going into. But first, we're going to talk about Katt Williams. Now, Katt Williams, he is obviously currently on a comedy tour right now. He is having a comedy tour, touring around the country, what he normally does, being Katt Williams. But on this comedy tour, during this comedy tour, one of his security guards actually unalived one of his comedians on tour with him, a comedian by the name of Reggie Carroll. Now, the security guard also worked for Katt Williams' shooting that unalived Reggie Carroll apparently happened at the security guard's house. The security guard's name is Trinell Williams. We are not told the motive of this particular incident just yet. We really don't know all that went down with this. We're not sure what happened here. But according to sources, all we can say at this time is that the fatal shooting of Reginald Reggie Carroll happened on Wednesday, August 20th. So last week sometime in South Haven, Mississippi. This is reported by the South Haven Police Department. We'll get to their statement in a second here. But authorities promptly announced that a man had been charged with the murder, but did not name him initially in the statement. Now, the suspect since has been confirmed by police to be Trinell Williams. This has been reported by the LA Times as well, but they didn't respond to any requests about a clarification on Trinell or what the motive was or anything like that. Now, according to several sources familiar with the incident, the suspect was an employee of Katt Williams. He was a security of Katt Williams. They said that he's worked for him for some time. Also, Katt Williams representatives have been reached out to as well, and unfortunately, they've not been able to catch up with them. Now, Trinell Williams, we're not sure how long he has worked for Katt Williams, but we do know this is Trinell Williams here. But what we do know is that he is undoubtedly the suspect in this situation here. Now, the shooting apparently happened at Trinell Williams's house. They're not saying the specifics why Reggie Carroll was at Trinell Williams's home. And as a matter of fact, they said this was the last address that was listed as Trinell Williams's home. So we can only suspect or assume that this was his home at one time or currently. Now, of course, Reggie Carroll, he earned several television credits over the years, namely a 2000 episode of Showtime at the Apollo. And again, we really don't know what happened here, what the motive was, or what the issue was, if there was an argument or some sort of disagreement. Obviously, there was a disagreement, but we don't know the specifics of the situation. It also wasn't immediately clear to authorities if Trinell has entered his pleas of guilt or not guilty, or if he has retained an attorney. So right now, he's just been apprehended, and we've just been able to ID or get the ID on this individual. Now, the statement from the South Haven Police Department, I want to go into that because I like to be specific. They said the following on the 23rd of August. They said, due to an active investigation, there is limited information to be released. We can confirm that on Wednesday, August 20th, 2025, South Haven Police Department responded to an area of Burton Lane in regard to a shooting. South Haven officers located one male victim suffering from gunshot wounds. The officers and medical personnel provided life-saving techniques, but the individual succumbed to his injuries. The victim has been identified as 52-year-old Reginald Carroll of Maryland. One male is in custody and has been charged with the unaliving of Reginald Carroll. Our thoughts are with the family of Mr. Carroll, and thank you to the community, et cetera, et cetera. They also issued an update saying the following: the individual has succumbed to his injuries. This is still an ongoing investigation with one male being questioned. So this was before they actually arrested Mr. Williams, but they had several updates. So the initial update was the fact that, Reginald had been shot, that at the time they didn't know that he had succumbed to his injuries. So they went on to say that, the investigation is still underway, and that the initially the one male suspect, which we know now is Trinell Williams, was being questioned. The statement that I read was the final update, just basically saying that Mr. Carroll unfortunately lost his life to this incident. So they said this was an isolated shooting, and that it wasn't an ongoing threat to the community. So, our thoughts and prayers are with Mr. Carroll's family. Certainly, once we receive more information regarding what the motive was, what the issue was, we will let you know. Obviously, Katt Williams is currently on tour. We have not heard any news on whether or not that tour was being suspended for a time, or if there was going to be any sort of refiguring of the tour schedule or anything like that. So as far as we know, the tour is still underway. This was an isolated issue. This wasn't an incident where it included Katt Williams in any way. It wasn't an incident where it included other comedians or other employees from the comedy tour. This specifically had to do with Trinell Williams and Reginald Carroll, who is now deceased, and Trinell Williams, who is now in the custody of the South Haven, Mississippi Police Department. We will stay on top of this and give you updates as to when he is arraigned, when he enters his plea of guilt, and all course of the trial phase of this situation. Very sad. Okay. Now, let's get on to the Cardi B of it all. Boy, it was an explosive day yesterday. So yesterday was day 2 of the Cardi B assault trial. Cardi B, of course, was in Cardi B fashion. She's worn a different wig every single day. She is living for the moment, making this a fashionable moment as much as it is a criminal, or I'm sorry, a civil trial moment, a lawsuit moment. This is not a criminal trial, but this is a civil lawsuit in which Imani Ellis is suing Cardi B, otherwise known as Government Wise, Bacchalis Marlenis Almanazar. I think that's how you say her name. I'm saying it wrong, but I said it correctly yesterday, but can't get it right today. So she is currently defending herself from an incident stemming from 2018, where she and Miss Ellis were into it verbally, into a verbal spat about the fact that Cardi B was 4 months pregnant with her now oldest daughter. She was going into an OB appointment there in Beverly Hills, and Miss Ellis was reportedly a fan and was excited to see her. And Cardi B did not want to be known. She did not want people to know that she was going into that building. She did not want people to know that she was pregnant at the time. She was being very protective of herself, her space, her body, etc. And once that occurred, there was a whole melee of events that ensued. And that is what is being sort of purported in this, or argued in this trial right now. What actually happened? We don't have any video. Miss Ellis says that Cardi B has been working with people, or worked with people, to have the footage of the incident removed. So there is no footage there. Miss Ellis says that she got a scratch on her cheek. Then she says she got it on her nose. And of course, Cardi B's attorneys have been eating her up on that, her inconsistencies of the story of what actually happened. And according to Cardi B, they never got into a physical altercation, that they were chest to chest, they arguing one another down, pointing the fingers in the face, which is where apparently this purported scratch comes from, according to Miss Ellis. But the shoving and the punching and the spitting and all of that that Miss Ellis is claiming that Cardi B actually did, she says that never happened. This is what Cardi B's folks are saying. Cardi B says no. Now, on the stand yesterday, under oath, Cardi B testified that this never happened. This was Cardi B yesterday, where she was on the stand giving her, giving her actual testimony of the incident. She, of course, was wearing her one of her signature wig looks. Now, I watched this testimony. I thought it was very, very interesting that the attorney, which was Miss Ellis's attorney, sort of started a foundational questioning surrounding her actual appearance. He says, well, your hair was black yesterday, it was short. Now your hair is longer and is blonde. And she says, well, yes. And he says, well, is that your real hair or was that your real hair yesterday? It's very interesting, very funny. And she says, well, no, these are wigs. She was pretty animated with that, but she was calm. She was good on the stand. She didn't do a whole lot of the classic Cardi B animation, but she was definitely Cardi B there on the stand. And some people in the comment section of Court TV, which of course this is where this photo came from, and where all of the footage is coming from, they're actually in the courtroom on this. A lot of people in the comment section really did not understand why the attorney was asking that. And I want to shed some light on that. So the reason why attorneys may ask, and you didn't get any, no one heard any objection from a Cardi B's folks or the judge, because the judge can jump in and say, hey, what grounds? This is baseless. Let's get to the, point of the subject. But that never happened. And that's because the attorney, every attorney, when they're cross-examining someone, and she was called up by the, I believe yes, she was called up by the defense. So when the attorneys have a right to ask foundational questions as it relates to the incident, anything that would actually shed light on the incident itself. They also have a right to ask questions that would confirm the identity of someone. And that is essentially what he was doing. So he's asking her questions about her hair, about all of that, because he's building up to the incident, which he actually did. Because on the day of the incident, and why he's asking all of this is because she actually was not showing her hair that day. She was wearing a hoodie. He asks her after he goes through this, what seems to be comical diatribe about her wig wearing. He says to her, how was your hair fixed or fashioned on the day of this incident in February 2018? She says, I really don't remember how my hair was, but I know that I had on a hoodie. So that basically helps the defense prove to the jury that she was there, that she knows that she was there. There's no sort of ambiguity about the fact that she wasn't there. She's putting herself there on that day. She says, I don't remember how I had my hair, but I know I had a hoodie on. So she is at this point placing herself there within the moment. So for people who are out there sort of, there were a lot of goofy comments on the Court TV side, but sort of wondering like, why is he asking this? And they felt like he was being goofy asking her these questions, but really he wasn't. This is a buildup to the bigger picture. Another thing he talked about were her fingernails. Now, I thought this was very interesting. We know that Cardi B wears these long, audacious fingernails, but she did not have these long, audacious fingernails yesterday during the trial phase. She described her fingernails. He asked her how long does it take for her to get her fingernails done in this sort of stiletto fashion that we're normally used to seeing her in. And she says, it depends, how long. Sometimes, if it's acrylic, it takes longer. He goes on to ask her, how long does it last and all of that. Then he asked her about her fingernails. yesterday on the stand, and her fingernails are short. I mean, I'm wearing my fingernails very, this is, my natural nail length, but her fingernails are out to here, guys. Like just right here. Now we know this is not a normal Cardi B fingernail length. This girl does the long straw set fingernails or the stiletto. So she actually wore her fingernails shorter for the trial phase to bring some sort of coverage for herself about this incident in terms of her putting her hand in the girl's face and scraping her on her face and her nose. Now, to me, this is not an indicator of guilt so much as it is a indicative of the fact that she knows that it's possible that she probably did scrape the girl's face because they were chest to chest, as she admits. She's sticking her finger in her face, and it's quite possible that she did make contact with her face with that fingernail, but she wouldn't know because her fingernails are so long. But yes, so I thought it's very interesting that for this trial, she had her fingernails the shortest I've ever seen her wear them. Cardi B has essentially personified the stiletto straw set fingernail trend. I mean, if you go into a nail salon and you say, I want a Cardi B set of nails, they know exactly what you mean by that. So I thought that was very, very interesting there. So now she is on her third day today. And I want to also go into some quotes that she made yesterday. She says, I didn't hit her. She didn't hit me. There was no touch. So to me, there was no incident. That's what she said on the stand yesterday when she was questioned by Miss Amani's attorney, and she was questioned about what happened as she exited that elevator on the fifth floor and encountered Miss Ellis filming her on the phone, and referring to her celebrity status, saying, oh, this is Cardi B. She said that she felt uncomfortable being recorded and followed by Miss Ellis, who was actually a security guard there in that medical building. She was there, supposed to be making rounds, doing her job, but Cardi B says that's not what was going on. She says the woman was following her. She was recording her. Cardi B turned around and said, please don't do that. I'm not sure that it was that polite. She described yesterday on the stand that there was an exchange, a verbal argument, and that there were harsh words that were traded. Now, Miss Ellis says that Cardi B dressed her down, that she berated her career. She fat shamed her. She talked about her as an individual. She was very disrespectful, in addition to the physical contact that Miss Amani is claiming. Now, when she was asked about, this is Cardi B, when Cardi B was asked about physical evidence yesterday, she explained that she was wearing long, flat acrylic nails with rhinestones. Now, these are the classic nails that we normally see. She emphasized that they were not sharp, so they're flat. They're not necessarily stiletto, but they're the flat, long ones. And she says that she saw no cuts or scrapes or scars on Miss Ellis's face during the incident, and that none of her fingernails were broken afterwards. She also noted that there was no video footage of the incident, which is going to be key in this situation, that had been found, and that her legal team checked for any available security cameras in that building. Now, that's interesting because, again, Miss Ellis and her team are saying that Cardi B colluded with someone in that building to get that video footage removed. That came up in the opening statements. Now, she also described feeling nervous and concerned during the encounter, explaining that she was approximately 130 pounds at the time. She was pregnant. She says that Ellis appeared to be significantly larger than her. She also emphasized that she was unable to defend herself as a result of actually being pregnant, 4 months pregnant at the time. Now, this will play into the hand somewhat of the defense of Miss Ellis, saying that Cardi B fat shamed her. You see here on the stand, Cardi B says, well, she was significantly larger than me. So that sort of plays into that a little bit as well. So, she goes into the hallway confrontation that it lasted 40 to 50 seconds before the receptionist intervened. And she said that it was just a verbal dispute. It didn't last very long. She said the doctor that she went to see, the OB that she went to see, that his receptionist stepped in, and the doctor even said, just come in here. That was pretty much yesterday. There was some other people who actually testified yesterday, but I think the more interesting point is Cardi B and her testimony that she gave yesterday. Now, on to today. We're going to talk about today. Cardi B is back on the stand today. She is sporting a different look today, and it's a Cardi B look. She looks good. I'm not sure that anyone is asking her about, whether she's wearing a wig or not, because this is very clear that she is. But this is her look from today. This is Cardi B today on day 3 of the trial. In day 3 of the trial, she's really talking about, let's go to day 3. This is really her sort of going through more questioning, more testimony of the trial, talking about what happened. She went to continue her testimony today. She conceded that she came chest to chest with Miss Ellis, but denied any physical contact. She went on to specifically describe these nails, and she said that they were a coffin style. The reason these nails are a point of contention is because Miss Ellis is claiming that Cardi B scratched her face, that she had to see a plastic surgeon. Also, who took the stand today was the actual plastic surgeon that Miss Ellis went to see as a result of this scratch. But moving on, she said that she went on to say again that she was pregnant at the time. She named the receptionist of the doctor's office, who was actually called to the stand as a defense witness as well. Tiara Malcolm, who is the receptionist of that doctor's office, said that the practice had intentionally closed early to allow Cardi B to come in while maintaining her privacy. So as a result of this appointment, the office actually closed early that day so that no one would know she was there, and so that she could be examined and have that appointment. When Miss Malcolm said that when she heard the commotion, she immediately walked over and got in between Cardi B and Miss Ellis and tried to calm the situation down. Malcolm said she got scratched. Miss Malcolm, the receptionist, said that she got scratched on her forehead from Miss Ellis, and that Miss Ellis had been cursing at Cardi B. She also said that she saw no injuries, no cuts or blood on Miss Ellis, nor did she see evidence that anyone had spat on her. Cardi B went back up to the stand. So they called Miss Malcolm to the stand out of order to give a little bit of context as to what happened in that office from her POV. After she went up to the stand and gave her testimony, Cardi B returned to the stand to begin her cross-examination. And she said she wanted to keep her pregnancy a secret at the time because she had just put out a hit record and her career was just beginning to take off. She went on to deny that she ever spit on Miss Ellis and said that she did not use any racial slurs. And that is basically current to what is going on today. I know that Miss Ellis is seeking medical expenses, damages for lost and past and future earnings. She's also seeking punitive damages. She's also seeking a civil penalty of $25,000 as well. Now, this is important because here's the deal. Miss Ellis, she has a lot that she has to prove, essentially, right? But it's important to note again that Cardi B is denying the racial slurs, that she's denying a lot of the behavior that we know to be kind of par for course Cardi B behavior. So it's just really interesting. I think we're going to be on a fine line of what's believable and what's not. And obviously, it's going to come down to what that jury believes. Again, guys, This is not a situation beyond a reasonable doubt. This is a civil trial. The rules are different. I only need to prove 50% of this evidence to prove that Cardi B did what I said she did. I want to try and also look at this testimony, and it may not have come out yet. He may still be on the actual on the stand right now. But the testimony from um Miss Ellis's plastic surgeon, because Miss Ellis's plastic surgeon is really going to tell the tale as to what this injury looked like. Now, when you go see a plastic surgeon, some people maybe you don't know if you go see a plastic surgeon, but if you go see a plastic surgeon for any sort of actual injury to sort of correct any facial injuries or anything like that, the plastic surgeon is going to take the photographs. They're going to take those photographs. They're going to take any sort of historic history photos, history, any of that, what your face looks like now, and sort of look at what they can do to correct it to return it to its natural state. Any sort of facial injury you might have, a broken nose or anything like that. Now, during a consultation, they may not do that. But if you book to begin the work, then they would do those photos because they need those photos as guidance to help them do the work that they're supposed to do. So I'm wondering, and I wasn't able to find the testimony of her plastic surgeon, but I know that he was on the stand today at some point. But uh, if the plastic surgeon was just there or rather, she just saw the plastic surgeon as a consultation, then, you know, the photos probably are not in their possession. They probably don't have photos of that. The other thing is, it also depends on what's believable because from what we know right now, Miss Ellis never went to the doctor following the actual situation. She never went to the doctor. It took her several days, months, weeks to get to the doctor. She didn't go to the doctor right away, to her own admission. She didn't see anyone right away. Also, the jury's going to be thinking about how much let's just say Bacallus did scratch her on the face. The jury is going to be thinking about how much damage can a scratch do. Also, it's going to matter, it really is going to matter if she actually got the work done. Did you actually get any medical attention from this plastic surgeon? And then also, are we sure that if you did get some work done by him, are we sure that whatever he corrected happened as a result of the situation with Cardi B? Because as we know it, you did not see a doctor following the incident. Now, Miss Ellis was canned, fired, booted as a result of this incident with Cardi B. She has a bachelor's degree in criminal justice. She was going to continue a career in criminal justice. She says, though, that because of the incident with Cardi B, she decided to change her career trajectory. She's now a social worker, helping families and things of that nature. The connotation that I'm getting is that she felt like her criminal justice career was somewhat sullied by this incident with Cardi B. When she actually was fired by her employer, she apologized to the employer. That, of course, is going to come up with Cardi B's folks because it's like, what are you apologizing for if you weren't at fault? And then if you were at fault and that's the reason for your apology, why are we here today? You know what I mean? So this is all very interesting. We're going to continue on. We'll come back tomorrow with day 4 as this thing continues to ratchet up. And then as it winds down into the jury into the jury portion of the trial where they deliberate what they have been listening to for the past week. I think it is a week-long trial. This isn't going to be a long thing, so we should be wrapping up pretty rapidly here pretty soon. Okay, guys, that's it for Cast and Court TV. This is your girl, Miss Public Info, and thanks so much for joining me today. We'll see you soon with more updates, more trials, more, and more commentary. We'll see you next time. Stay out of trouble. Stay safe, everybody. Thanks so much. Peace.